David, let's talk a little bit about the human element of cybersecurity.
The human element of cybersecurity turns out to be the one gift that keeps on giving to the bad guys. If we take the analogy of a building that's got fortified walls, and us, the good people, are on the inside, and the bad guys are on the outside, the only thing the bad guys need to succeed is to find a way to trick the person on the inside to open one of those windows with a latch only from the inside, and now they've got a connection to do their damage, and that is what phishing is in the real world in technology. So what we have now is an example of a phishing attempt that's so advanced that even the traditional security awareness training doesn't cover off. So we're told to look for the security lock in a browser. Well, it has that. We're told to look for two-factor authentication or make sure you use that. Well, these guys make sure that they steal the two-factor authentication token with it. I mean, it's just in every which way that security awareness training informs the user. This is something that the bad guys were still able to succeed. So what we have is this HitBTC as an example. I recommend this article on Medium by Harry strongly. Goes into great detail on how this phishing kit was constructed as an example and how they succeeded by even hiding behind the same Cloudflare proxy with the exact same pause that does DDoS protection by a Cloudflare. And what's really, really crazy is that these guys actually succeeded in getting two-factor authentication tokens stolen from the victim without the victim even being aware. That's the crazy part. Very often when victims have fallen for a phishing scheme, they realize it right after it happened and they're able to minimize the damage. But if your authentication tokens are stolen and you don't even know, now you really are going to experience way more pain than you might need to. So where's this going? We have a 10-year history now that Google shows with its transparency report on successful phishing sites. So check this out. With this 10-year trend that keeps on getting worse, it's time, we think, to maybe take a different approach philosophically. And that approach is to say, to whitelist, to block everything, but allow what you actually need and what has a verified positive reputation. So to give you that demonstration, I have an Atom Networks gateway right here that is currently running in AI whitelisting mode. And what we're going to do is access the hitbtc.com, which we can clearly access without any difficulty by just visiting the site, and we could even log in and so forth. It's not a problem for us to visit the real website if that's where we want to go to. But let's say that I had just been successfully spearphished with maybe many redirects of a URL, so it wasn't obvious that the phishing scam was redirecting me to hitbtc.cam, which turns out to be the website that was hosting the phishing content. Only one character difference in the URL, this one right here, an A instead of an O, is all it took. And if I, an unsuspecting user, if this wasn't enough to make me realize, wait a minute, I just ended up somewhere I didn't want to be, I could do a request unblock using this approach, and then that sends the request into the cloud to our tree of knowledge. That's our threat intelligence environment. And in the cloud, it's looking for a presence of a positive reputation. That domain has been used by many services. It's validated not to host any malware, and then it would automatically whitelist and allow me to get through there. However, in this case, the threat intelligence says, I don't know anything about it. I've sent it over to your administrator. So we're going to go over here and take a look from the administrator point of view. Administrator is notified that there is this hitbtc.cam website as an unblock request, and you're going to need to action it. And of course, at this point, the security officer, security administrator says, wait a minute, who did this? I can go there and check it out for myself, and a security administrator would then obviously not proceed and unblock that. And that turns out to be the only mechanism that provides protection against zero-day phishing. We think of it like this. In the real world, we have a justice system. in the Western world that says you're innocent until proven guilty. But on the internet, it is so easy to commit crime that the only way to address zero-day phishing risks is to flip that on its head and say, you are guilty until proven innocent. And that's basically what AI whitelisting does.
Love it. Thanks.